Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I am showcasing my own version of SpaceX's Starship. Now, it mostly replicates the entire ship, except for a few parts where it comes into it. Like the fact that it has extra boosters. It is capable of getting to orbit without them, but it looks cooler and saves on fuel. Just requires the more delicate procedure. Now, when we reach around 10,000 feet, we have the next task, which is reducing throttle and then lowering the engine throttle, or raising engine throttle for the outboard ones. After they burn out, we can dump them, which for that to happen we need to power down the main engines and then decouple them. Now sometimes it glitches up and gets stuck, but this time we managed. Now that we're fairly for the atmosphere, where we experience less atmospheric drag, we can now focus on getting to orbit. For this part, the boost will be taking a good chunk of that, which is also why we need the small boosters, so that we can save on the fuel. Now since we reached about 10% here, we can shut down the engines and decouple. Here is phase 2 of the booster's flight, the landing. Now, SpaceX manages to land their boosters in the ocean, so we're going to do the exact same thing. Sadly, no arm catch because I'm not designing that. So after we just narrowly clear the Starship, we can now go into reverse and blast it back. Now this is going to be a bit, but it will be worth it. If you all know any way to get like the UI off, that'd be great. I'd be very happy. But now it's time for re-entry. Now, not all of it's meant to take all the heat, so we have to reduce the amount of speed manually via the engines. Now we're fairly high, so we're going to gain a lot of it back, which is a problem, because we do not want to crash into the ocean at 300 meters per second. Now it's time to reduce the thrust to an all-time low. Switch from retrograde to pointing up, so that it no longer goes against it and just goes straight down. Used a lot more, but I decided to more than needed. And splash down. Now for the Starship, it has to first make its orbit. First we start up the engines. I forgot to set the Starship. Now that we're in orbit, we can now prepare for deorbiting. Now, the original plan was to land back at the original takeoff site, or as close as possible. Sorry, launch site. But due to that being extremely complicated and me not being able to do that, we are going to land in the ocean. Now the Starship's a lot more delicate than the booster, being that it requires a lot more precision with it. And you cannot land it with more than 50 meters per second, I think. But now we are coming in at over 3,000 meters per second, going to, and I made a mistake. This is why I do not like using yaw, because of the pitch. But we're gonna have to redo it. The cinematic flyby, where I forget to turn off the fuel part for it. And at this point, I have not realized that we are no longer going to enter the atmosphere, as nothing has happened. I usually try to land in the daylight so that we do not have to deal with the fact that it will be dark when we land. 14 kilometers should be fine for the Starship, and it is not outside of its operating settings. After a nice view, which I probably should have included in the intro, not the intro, the thumbnail, we have begun to descend into re-entry. I have a system for the fins. We do not have roll on them, sadly, but we do get a nice view of re-entry heat. Usually I get a lot of problems doing re-entry, but like if you nose down just a bit too low, it will burn up because of the engines, hinges, or whatever is not properly secure. But this time I did it properly and we managed to not burn up within re-entry. Now at one point I did glide this, so it is possible to glide the Starship. Now it is time for a bit of a random roll. For some reason, I do not know why I did that. Fuel isn't too heavy, and the thrusters can carry it as high as needed, and even higher. I believe this time it was more due to the fact that the engines were on. Or just the fact that the physics decided to not work. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and hope you like my Starship.